A very warm welcome to this video, which I'm doing on the festival of the Pentecost in the Christian calendar. I specifically chose this particular day because the relation between consciousness and matter is something which is constantly changing or improving, and today we have a deeper knowledge of the event of the Pentecost. I will not go into the biblical explanation of the Pentecost, which requires a deeper understanding and a separate audience. But here I would like to talk about how the ancients understood the concept of emanation of material from consciousness. This particular video is titled The Divine Code Within: How Ancient Wisdom Unlocks Modern Consciousness. Deep within the cuneiform tablets of ancient Sumer lies a secret that modern quantum physics is only beginning to whisper. That consciousness itself might be the fundamental fabric of reality, not merely its observer. The famous document of Sumeria, the Enuma Elish, humanity's oldest creation story, describes a cosmic dance between Apsu, the primordial waters, and Tiamat, the chaotic deep. What ancient scribes encoded as divine mythology, we now recognize through quantum mechanics, the eternal interplay between potential and manifestation, wave and particle, consciousness and matter. Let us see how we can bridge the quantum and the spiritual. When we examine the quantum vacuum, that pregnant emptiness from which all particles emerge, we find an uncanny parallel to Sumerian void before creation. This isn't a coincidence, it's a revelation. Ancient wisdom keepers understood what modern science struggles to accept. Consciousness doesn't emerge from matter, but matter emerges from consciousness. The biblical Genesis echoes this truth. I quote, "And the Spirit moved upon the face of waters." That movement, that divine intention, mirrors what quantum physicists call the observer effect, where conscious observation literally determines reality structure. Our ancestors weren't describing superstition, they were documenting the fundamental mechanics of existence itself. Now let us look at how the predictive processing and ancient knowledge are tied to this our modern study. Predictive processing is a cognitive theory suggesting that the brain isn't a passive receiver of sensory information, but an active prediction machine. Instead of waiting to react to the world, your brain constantly generates top-down hypotheses about what it expects to experience next. It then uses incoming sensory data solely to correct its own prediction errors, essentially constructing your reality based on its best guesses and adjusting only when facts prove it wrong. Modern neuroscience reveals that our brains don't passively receive reality. They actively predict and construct it through predictive processing. Remarkably, Sumerian texts describe this exact phenomena through the concept of maze, which is spelled MES, divine decrees that predetermine the pattern of existence. Maze are divine, unalterable decrees of Sumerian mythology that govern all aspects of human civilization and cosmic order. Originating from ancient Mesopotamia, these mysterious forces represent the fundamental blueprint of existence. These ancient scribes understood that consciousness operates as a prediction engine, constantly generating reality based on encoded patterns and expectations. The gods they described weren't external deities, but archetypal programs running within the cosmic operating system of consciousness itself. Now, how do we achieve personal spiritual transformation? This synthesis offers a profound implication for our own spiritual journey. If ancient myths are indeed blueprints for consciousness mastery, then you are not separate from the divine. You are the divine, experience itself subjectively. Every moment of awareness is an act of creation. Every thought, a quantum possibility collapsing into experience. Sumerian creation myths become personal transformation guides. Marduk's victory over Tiamat represents your higher consciousness organizing chaotic thoughts and emotions. This is picturized as a war between Marduk and Tiamat, in which Marduk ultimately wins. This separation of heaven and earth mirrors the development of discernment between spiritual insight and material manifestation. Let us see how the practical integration takes place. Understanding this ancient quantum connection empowers you to consciously participate in reality creation. Your beliefs, expectations, intentions don't just influence your experience, they literally construct it at the quantum level. The prayer wheels of Tibet, the Sanskrit mantras of Vedas, the invocation of Sumerian priests, and the Gregorian chants fit perfectly into this framework for a form of vocal reality programming. Use of frankincense in ritual and components of the fire in yagna are all sensory tools in integrating and achieving a connection to the higher realms of consciousness. In esoteric and historical contexts, these practices are viewed as acoustic and intentional technologies used to alter human consciousness and environment. All represent sophisticated consciousness technologies for reality programming. Let us look at the evolutionary imperative. We stand at a critical and crucial threshold where ancient wisdom and quantum science converge to reveal consciousness as a fundamental creative force. This isn't merely an intellectual understanding, but an evolutionary necessity. As we integrate these timeless truths with modern insights, we reclaim our birthright as conscious creators, bridging the gap between mystical experience and scientific validation. In closing, I would like to bring to your attention the following. Divine architecture isn't separate from us. We are the architectures awakening to our own infinite creative potential. And what is the call to action? Your consciousness is not just an observing reality, it is actively creating it with every thought, belief, and intention. And what is the final thought? The ancient Sumerians knew what quantum physics is proving. You are the divine experiencing itself through human awareness. And what is the reflection point that we can take from this presentation? What will you create with this newfound understanding of your true nature as both the observer and the observed? But in ending, remember, you are not in the universe is in you. Thank you for watching and listening, and have a great life.